There is a veil that covers the minds of men. Behind it lie the secrets of wealth, of power, of mastery. Most never lift this veil, and so they live as beggars in a world overflowing with riches. They toil for wages, they plead for opportunity, they chase shadows, never understanding that the true treasures of life are governed not by chance, but by law. Laws as real, as exact, as the law of gravity yet unseen, spiritual in nature, hidden from the unprepared. These are the laws that all wealthy men obey, whether they speak of them openly or guard them in silence. They are not taught in schools, they are not written in newspapers. They are whispered in the halls of power, practiced in the silence of early mornings, proven in the destinies of those who rise from obscurity to command empires. I call them the 7 hidden spiritual laws of wealth. And I say to you now with the full force of truth, if you learn them, if you live them, if you discipline yourself to obey them, wealth cannot be denied you. For I am not speaking of money alone, though money is their servant. I am speaking of wealth in its highest form, mastery of self, mastery of thought, mastery of destiny. For money follows mastery, as surely as a shadow follows the body. To chase the shadow is foolish. To build the body is wisdom. Build yourself, and the shadow of fortune will cling to you forever. The first law is the law of definiteness of purpose. Nothing in this world is achieved by the drifting mind. Poverty is the natural state of those who live without aim, for energy scattered produces no power. Wealthy men are definite. They know what they want, why they want it, and what price they are willing to pay. They write it down. They repeat it daily. They burn it into their minds until it becomes obsession, until every thought, every choice, every action bends toward its fulfillment. This is why they attract opportunities. Others call luck for definiteness is a magnet, drawing to itself the people, the resources, the ideas necessary for its completion. The second law is the law of self-discipline. Wealth is not given to the indulgent. He who cannot master himself cannot master money. He who wastes his hours, his thoughts, his energy will waste his fortune as well. Discipline is the proof to the universe that you are ready for abundance. Every act of self-command, rising early when you wish to sleep, saving when you wish to spend, holding your tongue when you wish to speak, is a deposit in the bank of destiny. And when enough deposits are made, fortune opens its vault. The third law is the law of autosuggestion. Within you lies a silent partner, the subconscious mind. It does not judge, it does not question, it only obeys. If you feed it weakness, it will deliver weakness. If you feed it strength, it will deliver strength. The wealthy know this. They repeat daily affirmations of power, of confidence, of success, until their subconscious accepts them as law. And once the subconscious accepts, it shapes habits, perceptions, instincts, all bending toward wealth. The fourth law is the law of mastery over emotion. Most men are slaves to reaction. They rise when praised, collapse when criticized, rush when greedy, flee when afraid. Their fortunes rise and fall as their emotions do, until nothing remains. The wealthy are detached. They remain calm in storms, steady in chaos, unmoved by insult, unshaken by loss. Because they control themselves, they control outcomes. And because they control outcomes, they inherit wealth others throw away in panic. The fifth law is the law of accurate thinking. Illusion is the enemy of fortune. Most live by opinion, rumor, assumption, and they are ruined by it. The wealthy demand facts. They separate truth from hearsay, cause from coincidence, appearance from reality. They see clearly, think sharply, and act decisively. This clarity is their shield against deception, their sword against fear. With accurate thought, they avoid traps, seize real opportunities, and multiply their fortunes while others hesitate. The sixth law is the law of persistence. Nothing great is built in a day. The wealthy understand that compounding of effort, of thought, of discipline is the true creator of abundance. The masses quit at the first obstacle, the second failure, the third delay. But the wealthy persist. They strike the stone again and again until it breaks. They plant the seed, water it daily, wait patiently, harvest abundantly. Persistence is the alchemy that turns small acts into great fortunes. The seventh law is the law of faith. Faith is the crown of all others. It is not idle hope. It is certainty that if the laws are obeyed, the result must come. Faith gives courage when fear whispers, endurance when delay tempts, calmness when storms rage. Faith is the inner knowing that wealth is not only possible, but inevitable for the disciplined mind. Without faith, discipline withers, persistence dies, purpose fades. With faith, all endure. With faith, all is possible. These are the 7 hidden spiritual laws of wealth. They are hidden not because they are concealed, but because most are blind. They are spiritual because they are invisible, yet their effects are as real as iron and stone. They are laws because they do not fail. I will now open them fully, one by one, not as theories, but as commands. And if you listen with the ear of your inner genius, if you take them into your soul as law, you will walk from this moment forward not as a beggar, but as a master. You will not plead for fortune, you will attract it. You will not fear wealth, you will command it. You will not chase riches, riches will chase you. For when you obey law, law obeys you. The first of the hidden spiritual laws is the most important, for it is the foundation upon which all others stand. The law of definiteness of purpose. Without definiteness, all effort is scattered. Without definiteness, discipline has no aim, persistence has no direction, autosuggestion has no target, accurate thinking has no focus, mastery of emotion has no reason, and faith has no anchor. But with definiteness, all of these gather into a single force like rays of the sun, concentrated through a lens until they burn with power. Wealth does not come to the man who says vaguely, "I want to be rich." That is a wish, not a purpose. Wishes are weak, for they scatter in the winds of doubt and delay. Wealth comes to the man who says with clarity and finality, "I will build this business, I will offer this service, I will provide this value, I will multiply it until I reach the fortune I desire, and I will not stop until it is done." Such definiteness electrifies the mind, magnetizes the subconscious, commands the body, and draws the cooperation of others. It is the law. Look at the drifter. He starts one thing, then another. He is moved by moods, by gossip, by trends. Today he wants wealth in trade, tomorrow in speculation, the next day in gambling, and the next in something else. He abandons each before it matures. He wastes his time, his energy, his focus. His life is a field of half-dug holes, none deep enough to reach water, and he dies thirsty. Now look at the man of definiteness. He chooses one well, and he digs. The work is slow at first. The ground is hard. The sun beats down. But he continues, day after day, because he has chosen. He does not dig 50 holes, he digs one. And because he persists in one direction, he strikes water. Fortune flows, not because he was lucky, but because he was definite. This is why the wealthy are decisive. They decide quickly, and once decided, they hold to their decision until results are achieved. The poor decide slowly, and once decided, they change quickly, abandoning plans at the first obstacle. One mind is a spear, the other is dust, and the world yields only to the spear. Definiteness of purpose creates confidence. Doubt is born of vagueness. If you do not know what you want, how can you be certain you will achieve it? But when you know precisely, confidence arises, for your mind has a target to aim at. This confidence radiates to others, and others are drawn to you, for men instinctively follow the decisive. Investors trust the decisive. Customers believe the decisive. Allies gather to the decisive. Fortune follows decisiveness. The wealthy practice definiteness daily. They rise each morning and review their purpose. They write it. They visualize it. They speak it. They do not allow a single day to pass without reminding their minds of the aim, for they know that a definite purpose, constantly impressed, becomes obsession. And obsession is the furnace in which greatness is forged. You must therefore write your purpose. Do not keep it vague in your head. Put it in words, clear and specific. Write not only what you want, but why you want it and what price you are willing to pay. Wealth has a price, and it must be paid in advance, in the form of discipline, of time, of thought, of persistence. Write also the deadline by which you will achieve it, for a purpose without a date is only a dream, and once written, repeat it daily until it burns. Do not fear to aim high. Small aims do not inspire the mind. They do not awaken faith. They do not command discipline. Aim so high that your purpose lifts your soul. But be definite. To say, I will be rich is vague. To say, I will build a business that earns $5 million by serving this market in this way by this year is definite. One drifts, the other commands. Definiteness also guards against distraction. The world is full of noise, new schemes, quick gains, temptations of ease. The drifter chases them all and gains nothing. The definite man ignores them, for he knows what he has chosen. He is not seduced by every glittering object, for he has already chosen his gold. This focus multiplies his power. Let us examine the cause and effect chain. If you drift, you scatter your energy. Scattered energy produces little result. Little result weakens confidence. Weak confidence makes persistence impossible. Lack of persistence ensures failure. But if you are definite, you concentrate your energy. Concentrated energy produces results. Results strengthen confidence. Confidence fuels persistence. Persistence ensures success. The cause is definiteness. The effect is wealth. Think of a river. Unchanneled, it spreads across the land, shallow and weak. Channeled, it cuts through rock and generates power. So it is with the mind. A drifting mind is shallow, achieving nothing. A definite mind cuts through obstacles and generates fortune. This is why definiteness is spiritual. It aligns the conscious and subconscious, the inner and outer, the thought and the act, the seen and unseen. It unites your entire being into one direction. And when a man is unified, he is unstoppable. The world yields to the unified. You must test your purpose. Ask, is this truly mine? Does it stir me? Does it awaken me? Would I pursue it if no one applauded? Would I persist if no one believed? If the answer is yes, it is yours. If the answer is no, you are drifting on another's desire. Only your own purpose can command your soul. Do not live another man's purpose. It will break you. Live your own, and it will make you. When you have found it, give yourself to it completely. Burn the bridges behind you. Leave no path of retreat. Say, this is mine. This is final. I will persist until I succeed or perish, but I will not turn back. The universe respects such resolve. Doors open not by magic, but by law, for the world respects the man who refuses to retreat. Remember, indecision is the thief of fortune. Every moment spent wavering is a moment wasted. Every decision delayed is wealth delayed. The wealthy act quickly and change slowly. The poor decide slowly and change quickly. Decide now. Choose your purpose. Commit. Write it. Repeat it daily. Align your every act to it. Persist without break, and wealth must come. For definiteness of purpose is not merely the first law, it is the master law. Obey it, and all others follow. Disobey it, and all others fail. The drifter breaks every law by breaking this one. The master fulfills every law by fulfilling this one. Therefore, engrave it in your soul. Wealth belongs to the definite. Poverty is the price of drift. I will be definite, I will choose, I will persist, I will conquer. The second of the hidden spiritual laws of wealth is the law of self-discipline. If definiteness of purpose is the compass that points the way, then discipline is the force that keeps you on the path. Without discipline, purpose dies in neglect. Without discipline, dreams wither into regrets. Without discipline, even the most brilliant plan collapses into dust. Wealthy men are not wealthier because they are luckier, but because they are stricter with themselves. They govern their appetites, their hours, their words, their habits. They do not indulge every whim, nor excuse every weakness, nor surrender to every impulse. They are masters of themselves first, and because they are masters of themselves, they become masters of fortune. The poor man waits for motivation. He acts when he feels like acting, and rests when he feels like resting. He works when inspired, and quits when discouraged. His entire life is at the mercy of mood. The wealthy man does not wait for motivation. He commands himself. He acts when he chooses, regardless of feeling. He rises when tired, works when uninspired, persists when discouraged. His entire life is at the mercy of nothing but his own will. This is discipline, and discipline is wealth. Understand this law. If you cannot command yourself, you cannot command wealth. For money is a tool, and tools obey only the master. The undisciplined cannot be trusted with riches, for he will waste them. Give him a fortune, and he will squander it in indulgence. Give him success, and he will destroy it in recklessness. This is why so many who stumble upon riches, the gambler, the inheritor, the lucky speculator, soon lose them. They had fortune, but no discipline. They commanded wealth outwardly, but not themselves inwardly, and so the wealth departed. Discipline begins in small things. Rise at the hour you set. Complete the task you promise. Save a portion of every dollar you earn. Speak only what serves. Govern your appetite for food, drink, pleasure, and praise. Each small act of command is a stone in the fortress of your character. Wealthy men build these fortresses patiently, daily, minute by minute. The poor neglect them and so live exposed to every storm. Consider cause and effect. If you yield to weakness, you train your mind to believe you are weak. Each indulgence becomes proof to your subconscious that you cannot be trusted. Confidence withers. Persistence dies. Poverty follows. But if you command yourself, even in small acts, you train your mind to believe you are strong. Each act of discipline becomes proof to your subconscious that you can be trusted. Confidence grows. Persistence thrives. Wealth follows. Do not despise small disciplines. 5 minutes of command each day is enough to begin. Refuse the extra sleep. Refuse the careless expense. Refuse the unnecessary word. These minutes compound. 5 minutes daily becomes hours, monthly, days, yearly, decades over a lifetime. Small acts of discipline, compounded, create great fortunes. The wealthy understand the principle of delayed gratification. They plant before they harvest. They save before they spend. They invest before they consume. They endure discipline today for wealth tomorrow. The poor demand gratification now. They eat their seed and wonder why no harvest comes. They spend their wages and wonder why they never grow rich. They indulge in comfort and wonder why they remain weak. Discipline is not cruelty. It is wisdom. It is refusing the small pleasure of now for the great wealth of later. It is enduring the fire of effort today for the gold of fortune tomorrow. Those who cannot endure discipline will endure poverty. Those who embrace discipline will embrace wealth. Let us examine time. Time is the raw material of wealth. Every man is given the same 24 hours. The poor waste them. The wealthy discipline them. The poor fill them with distraction, with gossip, with idle entertainment. The wealthy fill them with purpose, with labor, with thought. The poor let time slip unnoticed. The wealthy account for it as for gold. This is discipline, to treat time as treasure. For time wasted cannot be recovered, and he who wastes time wastes fortune. Discipline extends to thought. The poor allow their minds to wander into fear, doubt, jealousy, resentment. These thoughts poison the subconscious, weaken action, and repel wealth. The wealthy discipline their thoughts. They catch the negative, replace it with positive. They refuse to dwell on fear, and instead affirm faith. They refuse to envy, and instead focus on purpose. They refuse to complain, and instead act. Thought discipline is the root of all others, for as the mind goes, so goes the life. Discipline extends to words. Words are power. Each word shapes thought, each thought shapes action, each action shapes destiny. The poor speak carelessly. They say, I can't, and so they don't. They say, I'll try, and so they fail. They say, I'm unlucky, and so they are. The wealthy guard their speech. They speak with definiteness, with confidence, with faith. They say, I will, and so they do. They say, I am, and so they become. Discipline of words is wealth. Discipline extends to money. The poor spend to impress, the wealthy invest to multiply. The poor trade dollars for fleeting pleasure. The wealthy trade dollars for permanent assets. The poor see money as something to consume. The wealthy see money as something to command. Discipline with money is the difference between poverty and wealth. For money, once multiplied, works harder than any man. The poor consume their workers. The wealthy multiply them. Discipline extends to emotion. The poor lash out when angry, collapse when sad, boast when proud, indulge when greedy. Their emotions drive their actions, and their actions ruin their lives. The wealthy restrain themselves. They do not speak in anger. They do not surrender in sadness. They do not boast in pride. They do not indulge in greed. They remain steady. This is discipline, and discipline is mastery. Discipline extends to persistence. The poor quit when effort becomes uncomfortable. The wealthy endure. They discipline themselves to continue, even when they are tired, even when results are delayed, even when others quit. Persistence is nothing more than disciplined action repeated until victory comes. This is why discipline is law. For without discipline, purpose is wasted. Autosuggestion is canceled. Accurate thinking is clouded. Mastery over emotion is impossible. And faith is dead. But with discipline, every law strengthens. Purpose is obeyed. Autosuggestion is reinforced. Accurate thinking is applied. Emotions are governed. Faith is sustained. Discipline is the root. Engrave this in your soul. Every act of discipline is a seed of wealth. Every act of weakness is a seed of poverty. I will plant discipline daily and harvest wealth inevitably. The third of the hidden spiritual laws of wealth is the law of autosuggestion. It is one of the least understood by the masses, and yet one of the most powerful. For within you lies a silent partner, tireless, neutral, unceasing the subconscious mind. It works 24 hours a day. It records every word you speak, every thought you think, every belief you repeat, and it accepts them without question. It does not argue, it does not reason, it obeys. And what it accepts, it multiplies until it becomes your reality. Most men are slaves of this law, not masters of it. They feed their subconscious poison daily. They repeat silently, I cannot. I am unlucky. I am afraid. I always fail. Life is unfair. They mutter complaints. They dwell on fears. They rehearse failures. And their subconscious, obedient as always, accepts these words as law. It begins to shape their habits, to bend their perception, to blind them to opportunity, to push them toward failure. Then they say, see, I was right. But they were not right. They were obedient. They commanded failure, and failure obeyed. The wealthy know better. They use this law deliberately. They choose their words carefully. They guard their thoughts fiercely. They impress their minds daily with affirmations of strength, faith, discipline, and wealth. They repeat with conviction, I am calm, I am confident, I am disciplined, I am master of my mind, I am destined for greatness, I am wealthy in thought, in character, in destiny. They speak these words not once but daily until their subconscious accepts them as law. And once accepted, these affirmations shape action. Action shapes habit. Habit shapes character, and character shapes destiny. Autosuggestion is the training of the inner voice. Every man has an inner voice, whispering always. For most, it whispers defeat. For the wealthy, it whispers victory. The difference is not fate, but training. The subconscious is like fertile soil. It will grow whatever is planted. Plant weeds, and weeds will grow. Plant wheat, and wheat will grow. Plant nothing, and weeds will grow anyway. The wise man plants deliberately, daily, persistently, until his inner field yields only strength. Consider the cause and effect chain. If you repeat weakness, your subconscious accepts weakness. Accepted weakness creates fearful habits. Fearful habits create timid actions. Timid actions create poverty. But if you repeat strength, your subconscious accepts strength. Accepted strength creates confident habits. Confident habits create bold actions. Bold actions create wealth. The cause is suggestion. The effect is destiny. You may say, but I do not believe the words at first. That does not matter. Repetition creates belief. Say it enough with persistence, and your subconscious will accept it. At first, you may feel like a liar, but soon you will feel like a prophet, for your words will begin to manifest. Faith grows by repetition, as muscle grows by exercise. The poor repeat doubt until it becomes faith in failure. The wealthy repeat truth until it becomes faith in success. Autosuggestion must be definite. Vague affirmations are weak. Do not say, I want to be rich. Say, I am building wealth daily. I am disciplined with money. I attract opportunities. I persist until millions are mine. I am already wealthy in thought, and wealth in fact must follow. The subconscious does not respond to wishes. It responds to commands. Speak with certainty. Speak in the present tense. Speak as though it is already true, and it will become true. Autosuggestion must be emotional. Cold words are nothing. Say them with fire. Say them with conviction. Say them as though your life depended on them, for it does. The subconscious responds to emotion. The more emotion you attach, the faster it accepts. This is why fear spreads so quickly. It is charged with emotion. But so too does faith if you charge it. Speak your affirmations with feeling until they burn. Autosuggestion must be repeated daily. Once is not enough. A seed planted once dies. A seed watered daily grows. The wealthy repeat their affirmations morning and night. They fill their minds with them during the day. They live surrounded by reminders, written words on walls, repeated phrases in journals, whispered sentences before sleep. They understand that the subconscious never rests, so they never rest in feeding its strength. Autosuggestion is not fantasy. It does not mean you sit idle and chant riches into being. It means you train your subconscious until your entire being is aligned with wealth. Once aligned, your mind sees opportunities it once ignored. Your instincts move you toward action you once avoided. Your persistence hardens, your confidence rises, your courage expands. Wealth follows not because of magic, but because of law. Think of the salesman. If he says silently, "They will reject me," his tone, his posture, his eyes betray him, and they reject him indeed. If he says silently, "They will accept me, for I bring value," his tone, his posture, his eyes declare confidence, and they accept him. The subconscious shapes even the smallest detail. Autosuggestion is the difference between rejection and sale, between failure and fortune. Think of the investor. If he repeats silently, "I always lose," his mind is blind to opportunity. He hesitates, he withdraws, he sells in fear, and he loses indeed. If he repeats silently, "I always win by discipline," his mind is sharp, his patience strong, his decisions calm, and he wins. Autosuggestion is the difference between ruin and riches. Understand this. You are already practicing autosuggestion. Every word you speak to yourself is suggestion. The question is not whether you practice, but whether you practice wisely. The poor practice unconsciously, repeating doubt, feeding weakness. The wealthy practice deliberately, repeating strength, feeding mastery. Choose which you will do. Train yourself daily. 5 minutes is enough. Each morning, speak aloud your affirmations of discipline, detachment, confidence, wealth. Each night, repeat them before sleep, for the subconscious is most open then. Write them, read them, record them, listen to them. Surround yourself with them until they become the language of your soul. And once they are the language of your soul, your destiny is sealed. For no man can long remain poor who thinks wealth daily, affirms wealth daily, believes wealth daily. Nor can any man long remain strong who feeds weakness daily. Autosuggestion makes the master or the slave. It is neutral. It will serve you or destroy you. Therefore, engrave this law. I will speak only strength. I will affirm only wealth. I will repeat only mastery. I will train my subconscious daily until it accepts my command. And once it accepts, the world itself will obey. The fourth hidden spiritual law of wealth is the law of mastery over emotion. It is a law rarely mastered, and because it is rarely mastered, true wealth is rare. More fortunes have been lost to emotion than to all other enemies combined. Fear has stopped more men than poverty itself. Greed has destroyed more fortunes than famine. Anger has ruined more partnerships than competition. Desire for approval has enslaved more lives than chains of iron. Understand this. If you do not master your emotions will master you. And if your emotions master you, no amount of knowledge, no amount of opportunity, no amount of money will save you. You will sabotage yourself at every turn, as countless men have done before you. But if you master your emotions, you master yourself. And if you master yourself, you master fortune. The poor man is a slave to reaction. He is angry when insulted, proud when flattered, fearful when threatened, greedy when tempted, desperate when pressured. His life is a chain of reactions, and because he does not govern himself, he cannot govern anything else. He is at the mercy of circumstance. He rises and falls with every wave of opinion, every gust of fear, every spark of desire. And his wealth rises and falls with him until it vanishes altogether. The wealthy man is detached. He does not react, he responds. He does not collapse when insulted, nor boast when praised. He He does not panic when markets fall, nor rush when markets rise. He does not let fear dictate retreat, nor greed dictate recklessness. He remains calm, deliberate, steady. He governs his own mind, and because he governs his own mind, he governs his destiny. This is why the wealthy appear serene in crises. While others panic, they are calm. While others sell in fear, they buy in discipline. While others collapse in despair, they persist. And because they remain steady when others fall, they inherit the wealth of those who broke. Mastery over emotion transfers fortune from the weak to the strong. Consider fear. Fear is natural, but if obeyed, it is fatal. Fear exaggerates danger, invents threats, paralyzes action. The poor obey fear, retreating from opportunities, abandoning plans, surrendering to doubt. The wealthy feel fear but act anyway. They detach from the emotion, test it with accurate thinking, and move forward if purpose demands it. Each time they act in spite of fear, their confidence grows. Each time the poor retreat, their fear grows, and so the wealthy grow fearless and the poor grow weaker. Consider greed. Greed intoxicates, blinds, and drives men to reckless indulgence. The poor chase quick riches, gamble fortunes, buy without thought, overreach until they collapse. The wealthy feel greed but restrain it. They detach, they wait, they act only by reason. They take profit with discipline, they invest with patience, they grow steadily. While others rush, they stand firm. And when the bubble bursts, they are still standing, ready to inherit the spoils. Consider anger. Anger burns bridges, poisons partnerships, destroys trust. The poor lash out in anger, say words they regret, make choices they cannot reverse. The wealthy feel anger but master it. They detach, remain silent, respond later with reason. They do not waste energy on quarrels. They do not burn bridges in haste. They preserve relationships. They preserve influence. They preserve wealth. Consider the need for approval. The poor crave it, and because they crave it, they are enslaved by it. They spend to impress, speak to be liked, compromise to be accepted. They trade purpose for applause, wealth for popularity, destiny for comfort. The wealthy are detached. They do not seek approval, they seek purpose. They do not ask, will they like me? They ask, will this serve my aim? Praise does not intoxicate them. Criticism does not weaken them. They are free, and freedom is wealth. Understand the cause and effect chain. If you obey emotion, you live by reaction. Reaction destroys discipline, clouds thought, weakens purpose, kills persistence, and poisons faith. Poverty follows. But if you master emotion, you live by response. Response strengthens discipline, clarifies thought, focuses purpose, fuels persistence, and fortifies faith. Wealth follows. Mastery of emotion is not suppression. It is not denying that you feel fear or anger or greed. It is acknowledging the feeling, detaching from it, and choosing your action by reason, not impulse. It is stepping back, breathing, pausing, asking, what serves my purpose? Then acting by that answer. Over time, this becomes habit. Habit becomes character. Character becomes destiny. The wealthy train this mastery daily. When tempted, they pause. When provoked, they wait. When afraid, they breathe. When greedy, they restrain. They practice detachment in small things until it becomes natural in great things. They refuse to let mood dictate their destiny. This is why emotional mastery is spiritual. It is invisible, but its effects are everywhere. It is calmness in the storm, clarity in the chaos, steadiness in the trial. It is the unseen crown on the head of the wealthy. It is why men trust them, follow them, invest in them, build with them. For men instinctively trust the steady and instinctively flee the unstable. Engrave this law. I will not be mastered by fear, by greed, by anger, by pride, by the need for approval. I will feel, but I will not obey. I will observe, detach, and act by purpose alone. I will master myself, and by mastering myself, I will master wealth. The fifth hidden spiritual law of wealth is the law of accurate thinking. Most men are ruined not by enemies, but by illusions. They mistake rumor for fact, coincidence for cause, emotion for truth, and their lives are built on sand. The wealthy refuse this. They demand clarity. They separate what is known from what is assumed. what is fact from what is opinion, what is truth from what is comfortable. Their minds cut through fog as a sword cuts through cloth. The drifter hears, times are hard, and quits. The thinker asks, hard for whom? By what measure? What opportunities lie hidden? The drifter hears, you cannot succeed without connections, and accepts defeat. The thinker asks, is that fact or excuse? What did those without connections do to rise? The drifter believes what soothes him. The wealthy believe what strengthens them. One hides in illusion, the other acts in truth. Accurate thinking is not cynicism, it is clarity. The cynic sees only obstacles. The accurate thinker sees obstacles and opportunities alike, but acts only on what serves his purpose. This clarity preserves wealth. It prevents reckless action, shields against deception, and gives calmness in storms. A clear mind is unshaken, and unshaken minds are the soil of fortune. The sixth hidden spiritual law of wealth is the law of persistence. Nothing great is gained without endurance. The poor quit at the first failure, and so they fail forever. The wealthy persist through 100 failures, and so they succeed once, and once is enough. Fortune tests all men. It asks, will you continue when the harvest is delayed? Will you rise when you fall? Will you endure when mocked? Most answer no, and so fortune passes them by. The wealthy answer yes, again and again, until fortune yields. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It is disciplined endurance in pursuit of a definite aim. The wealthy adjust methods but never abandon the goal. They bend but do not break. They fall but rise again. They fail but continue. They persist until cause produces its effect, for they know the law. He who cannot quit cannot be defeated. The seventh hidden spiritual law of wealth is the law of faith. Faith is not idle hope. It is certainty that if you obey the laws, results must follow. Faith is discipline in darkness, persistence in delay, calmness in chaos. Faith is the crown of all mastery, for without it, purpose falters, discipline tires, autosuggestion fails, emotions rule, thought clouds, persistence dies. With it, every other law endures. Faith is not blind. It is built. It is built by daily discipline, daily affirmations, daily victories. Each act of command strengthens it. Each proof of law deepens it, until faith is no longer belief but knowing. And once you know, you cannot doubt. The wealthy walk with this knowing. It radiates in their calm, it speaks in their voice, it shines in their eyes. It is why others trust them, why opportunities seek them, why fortune clings to them. Now the seven are revealed. Definiteness of purpose, self-discipline, autosuggestion, mastery over emotion, accurate thinking, persistence, and faith. They are not theories. They are laws. They are hidden only because most men never look. They are spiritual because they are invisible, yet they govern the visible without fail. They are exact. They do not bend. They do not fail. They reward those who obey, and they punish those who neglect. And so I say to you now, the choice is yours. You may drift and reap poverty, or you may command and reap wealth. You may obey weakness and remain enslaved, or you may obey law and become master. The laws are neutral. They favor no man. They reflect only what you give them. Do not wait. Begin this moment. Write your purpose. Discipline your time. Speak affirmations of wealth. Detach from fear, greed, anger, and approval. Think accurately. Persist through delay. Build faith daily. Do this, and you align yourself with the same laws all wealthy men have followed. Do this, and wealth must come, as surely as harvest follows seed. Declare it now. I will not drift. I will be definite. I will discipline myself. I will train my subconscious with strength. I will master my emotions. I will think clearly. I will persist without end. I will believe until I know. I will live by law, and the law will reward me. I will be wealthy in thought, wealthy in character, wealthy in destiny. Money will follow, because mastery commands it. I am a master, and wealth is mine. Say it until you believe. Believe until you act. Act until you become. Become until the world itself must confess, here is a master. Here is a man of law. Here is one who has unlocked the hidden spiritual laws of wealth. And when it does, you will know that it was never hidden from you. It was waiting in you, waiting for the moment you chose mastery, waiting for the moment you obeyed law, waiting for the moment you declared, I am wealthy, by thought, by discipline, by destiny. That moment is now.